think that's a little better. Can you hear us now? Ragged world.
Here and then coming out.
Hi, all. We're working on some fun audio issues. It's me. It's totally me. You remember the vortex, the technological vortex? I'm telling you, it's a thing. I just should start warning people in advance this time. Can you hear Rusty Panda now? Anybody hear Rusty now? Thank you for the raid, Ragged World. Pretend I'm the Rusty Panda. I'm not gonna sing. But realistically, I'm probably gonna sing. I don't even know if they can hear me. Okay, Conquest, if you eat technological vortexes, please remove this one because I've had it for a very long time. Keep it up, Conquest. Do it.
All right, I know they can hear me now, but I should sound really far away. Is that true?
Okay.
They can hear me now. I know they can hear me now. I just want to see if they can hear me clearly now.
On sees lips moving, but they can't hear what we say, except for me, because I had to quote a song lyric. Conquest indicates it works. So does that mean that y'all can hear the Rusty Panda, but are they loud and clear?
It's tube audio. That's what I thought.
Okay. Not like I know what that means, because I don't.
It means that it's coming through the camera. Unless you guys can hear me loud and clear. She said thought. I just need anyone to tell me if they can hear me loud and clear. Yes, loud. Perfect. Okay. All right, we're going to go with that for now.
And then can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah.
I have to assume if they can hear you that they can no longer hear me.
No, they can totally hear you. Again, that's showing up. Back to nom nom noms. Okay. Enjoy your nom noms. Welcome on in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the zoo. I'm the Rusty Panda, and I am here for you. We've got Books, Brews, and Booze here. We're going to do some Wikipedia down the rabbit hole. And essentially what that means is we are going to talk about some topics, and as we do so, we're going to go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole. There we go. Wikipedia rabbit hole. So basically, what we're looking at is a bunch of her likes and a bunch of her dislikes. And as we do that, we'll kind of learn more about some stuff. So let's get right to it. The first thing that I put here were cats. And I felt like that was very fitting. You and I have this in common very much where, I've got 3 babies and you've got your babies, and let's go. Okay. So, let's talk about that. So, how long have you been owning cats, or what's your earliest memory of your first cat?
So I have had cats as early as I can remember. My first cat was technically my mother's cat that she had before. I think she might have even had him before she married my dad, but that cat's name was Fluffy. and Fluffy had a baby, Frisky, and then came Tiger, and then Muffin, and then I moved out because now I'm an adult, and then I have had since then many other animals.
Have you ever had anything? Have you ever had any other animals or
Well,
besides?
no, I should specify that many cats.
Oh, okay. Okay, so are they farm cats? Were they feral cats? How did you acquire?
So, two of them are rescues that came from a rescue organization, the typical way. And then three of them came from outside. So, Midnight, Tortellini, and Bootsy were all outdoor cats. Midnight is a stray, and he really, really, really wanted to be an indoor kitty.
Aw.
I know, it was like heartbreaking because he would jump on the screen, the kitchen screen at 2 in the morning and cry to be let in.
Oh my god.
So I lasted about 2 nights of that. And then I said, okay, I said to the roommate, that's friend slash roommate, I said, okay, Jim, we need to talk about Midnight. Couldn't take it anymore. And so we brought Midnight in. Now, Tortu and Bootsy are more like semi-feral. So they like the other cats. They think we can go to hell unless we're feeding them, and then they like us.
That's funny.
Sort of. Like they'd rather I have to put their plates down and then leave the room without making eye contact, like I'm like a maid in Victorian London or something. I can make no eye contact with them.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So,
Yep.
the surrounding areas. I mean, I've seen your backyard because of recent streams, but like, what is your neighborhood kind of infested with those cats? Not infested, but like, are there a lot of stray cats, or is it just kind of like the ones that found your door?
There's less now
Okay.
because every time I get a cat that's not neutered, I really try hard to get them neutered or spayed, depending on their gender.
Right.
Hey, the feisty one, how are you?
I see one.
So we have less. But before we started doing that, when I first moved in here, there was I call them the married couple because they really were. They were Mama Boots and Charcoal Kitty are their names. And they had 2 litters together before I got them and got them fixed. And what was great about the second litter is that I got all 5 of those kittens, and we worked with a shelter, and we got all of them rescued out to.
Nice. Good job.
Yep. I was so excited.
So, okay. So we've got the feral cat, which is the stray, and then you've got your domesticated cat. And I just love how they have different names, right? So that they have different Wikipedia pages. So feral cat and domestic cat, they couldn't just put like cat and then have like feral and domesticated. Like there's enough that they have their own cats, because it was even talking about free roaming the streets in special countries where they like cats have their own island.
Yeah.
I want to know what do you know what island that is?
I don't know. I just know that it exists, and I love cultures that pay attention to animals, because you'll notice that they're usually kinder cultures traditionally.
Yeah.
I think there's one in Japan, but I'm not sure. Ragged World might remember this.
Yeah, they're oh my god, the word island is everywhere. I just need to find the word island that makes sense. Disease, controlled, and management.
I'll Google too. Famous cat island. Let's try that. Famous cat island. Oh, there is one in Japan.
It's in Japan?
Yeah. Ooh, I am not going to pronounce that right. Oh, visit to Aoshima, a Japanese cat island. Aoshima might be the most famous cat island in Japan. Huh. Wow, there are only AOSHIMA. Neat.
Gallery of Cats. Here we go.
Right, so wow. Apparently there's 120-ish cats and like only 20 people.
Wow.
Apparently.
Cat Heaven Island, or Island. So
Aww.
there's not, okay. But yeah, that's so interesting that they have that. So it's a fishing village, like you were saying, and the population is reported between 120 and 130 felines.
Neat.
And the cats on the island would be spayed or neutered in order to lower the feline population. I just got Bree Mary. Welcome on in. Conquest Publishing, thank you so much for the follow as well. And Defiled and Trials, welcome on in. Interesting. So that they need to do, it was reported that all cats on the island would be spayed or neutered in order to lower the feline population as a response to the declining human population.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's interesting.
I'm hearing that at some point they're going to need a caretaker for the felines.
Right. Hey, Chan. Same thing. Same idea. Now we grew up with a farm cat, or I grew up. Galvos grew up with a farm cat. And it's so funny. They look exactly like this. They look like badass bitches, you know. Yep. Did you ever have a farm cat?
We didn't, but I think it's so interesting that you're talking about the different designations of animals, because I didn't know before I moved here that there was a difference. This is going to sound silly, but I didn't know that there was a difference between a stray cat and a feral cat.
Yeah, okay.
I just assumed they were one and the same. And then I discovered that, feral means you are never touching that animal. Ever in a million years. You can feed him, no touchy-touchies. Mm-hmm. And then Midnight is most definitely a stray because I can pick him up. He doesn't love it, but I can do it. Tortu and Bootsy, forget it. Picking them up is such an ordeal, and it just in fact doesn't even really happen.
Oh yeah.
Yep, they will not tolerate such behavior. I can't even get close to them. Sometimes it's just enough, like I was joking about the eye contact thing, but it's true. Sometimes I'll just make eye contact with them from across the room. I will be in the kitchen and they will be in the living room, and I can look through the partition and look at them, and they'll jump off their kitty condos and hide.
Wow.
Yep. So they are definitely still semi-feral. I can pet Tortu. I cannot pet Boots.
Oh, okay.
But I have to trick her into it. I have to pretend like I'm Ghost next to her, and then be like, I'm a cat, and let her not figure out that it's me right away.
That's funny. Okay, Defiled, that's gross. Yeah, how do you know this? How do you know that stray cats have better tasting pee than feral cats? I need to know. Actually, I don't want to know.
I do want to know.
Yeah, I want to know what facts that there's. I'm not going to Google it because I just don't want that in my search history.
Just tell me later, Defiled. Also, hey, F Demonic Rob, and hey, Brie Mary's here. Hey.
I drink it for hydration. You're gross. He is gross. Just ignore him sometimes. But other times, don't ignore him because he's really, really sweet. But he's kind of like a Sour Patch Kid. First he's sour, then he's sweet, then sometimes he's sour again. So you just gotta watch.
He has the nerve to say I smell, which incidentally I do, but I smell like shea moisture, hydrating body lotion.
All right, so we have. You've been to the cat rooms, right? The reading rooms that have cats, like the cat cafes.
Like cafes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't yet, because at the time when they became super duper popular and started coming closer to me, it was the pandemic.
Okay.
So there is one that's maybe 45 minutes away from me, and I think that's the closest one.
Look at them in their perfect little circles.
Okay, that's photoshopped.
No.
It has to be. I refuse to believe that you can do this.
Have you seen the cat performances? the cat circus act?
I have not.
I have to send this to you. There is a literal circus act with all cats. Um, Let me do the Google. Circus cats. They were on America's Got Talent.
Oh my god.
I can't show them to you. Just look it up yourself because
Okay.
I don't want to get DMCA'd. But
Yeah.
yeah, the cats are amazing. The cats literally do things on like the ball. They do rolling on balls and stuff. They walk the pole and walk through different limbo stuff.
I can't imagine.
They jump through hoops. It is absolutely crazy.
I cannot imagine such things.
It is so cool. You definitely have to check that out. But yeah, I've always wanted to go to a cat cafe.
It does
Um,
seem sweet, but I know it's like they're separated. Like there's the food and drinks room, and then there's the cat room, and so I know they're separate. And because I know people started freaking out online when they first started becoming a thing, going, "That is not very sanitary."
yeah, that makes sense.
They
Um,
haven't figured out. Meanwhile, any other restaurant you go to, I promise you, it's not as sanitary as you think, and you just kind of have to deal with that if you're going to go out and eat.
you're not wrong. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Cat Square opened in 2005, and after this, 2005 to 2010, 79 cat cafes open across the country of Taiwan.
Wow.
So what about the U.S.? There's Europe, North America, United States. Departments require special steps to separate the cat area from where the cats are housed.
Yep.
Um, they got approval was difficult with Kitty in San Francisco. Um, they focus on adoptions, which this I knew. This I knew that the cat cafe is mainly focused on adoptions, and more so like take me home. Like look at this cat, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
cute. Hey Alki Mutation, hey Alki.
Alki.
Um, so that's really cool that it's become what it's become. And you can get coffee.
Right? I mean, I admit I'm a little bummed that I can't have the coffee while petting the cat, but I understand why. I
Yeah.
understand you. What if you spill it? I once spilled a cup of coffee on Toothless. It was already cold, so nobody panic. I mean, I panicked, of course. I was like, "Oh my god, what have I done?"
My
Oh god,
baby.
no, it was a whole big thing.
yeah,
Everything is a big thing. So,
it's always a big thing.
yeah.
Um, okay, so cat cafes, cats. Um, we kind of talked. We alluded to these cafes, and I've heard of cat libraries too, where there's libraries that have like a resident cat. We had one called Twigs and Teacups in Maryland, where my grandma was, and there was a resident cat.
Eggs and teacups. That's beautiful. Are they still open, Rusty?
I don't think so. I think after the pandemic they had to close because it was such a. But I got all those Klutz books. I don't know if you know the Klutz books that have like magic for beginners, and it's all the things like kids love, like how to learn a juggle, that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
thing. I got all those books from Twigs and Teacups.
All right.
But yes,
Eggs and teacups. What a beautiful name.
it was a great place. They had tons of books and tons of little tchotchkes and
Oh, I love
um,
it.
you have four
Oh,
cats and one of them likes wine. My cat
oh,
Walter drinks coffee and lifts weights.
okay. Who's is that defiled? It has to be.
No,
That's
well the lifting weights is defiled, but Brie Mary says wine. One of the cats likes wine.
one of them likes wine. Goodness, I don't know. I was going to pour a glass of wine before this because I felt a little anxious, not because of you, but because of
No,
just
yeah,
the hellish couple of weeks it's been. And but I haven't yet, so we'll see whether I do or not. And I'm afraid to give it to the cat.
that's fair. Yeah, I have one cat that's obsessed with anything creamy. So any sort of cream cheese, any sort of yogurt, any ice cream, anything like that. And the other cats love tuna or like one cat loves cheeseburgers.
Oh my,
Um, it's they're so different cat to cat.
no,
All
it is
right.
so true. And like people who don't. have cats or didn't grow up with cats, I think can sometimes have like a faulty assumption about them that that they don't have a lot of personality, unlike a dog. But nope, they all do. They all do. Dogs do.
Um,
do. Defiled.
I'm just not even going to repeat it out loud.
I'm not going to read it really quickly. Oh, talk to. Never mind. I was just about to make a really inappropriate joke. Never mind.
We're allowed to be inappropriate, but like to a point.
No, I'm going to make an inappropriate joke, but we're not going to do it. No, I'm going to show you. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I always feel bad telling Defiled to calm down because then he goes back to 0. I want him to just like go down like half a notch and then we're fine.
On a scale of 0 to Defiled, how inappropriate am I?
Right. I need you to be like Defiled without the entrails. Like I just need. Okay, so we're going to cat libraries. So we had a cat that was in Twigs and Teacups. We've had cats, the resident cat that's in the library. Defiled, she can tell you the joke over whispers.
I'll whisper you, baby.
So we're gonna go into library. Is there any library in specific that you love? Ancient library, anything along those lines?
There is. Hold on, Rusty. Let me think about this for a second. There is a library. Oh God, where the hell is it? Sheet. It is somewhere.
Okay.
I've gotten that far.
Oh, you're doing great.
Maybe it's in Ireland?
Okay.
Type in famous library in Ireland and let's see what we get.
It's funny, Kraken came up because I spelled Ireland wrong and I don't know what that means. Alright, let me see. We're going to go to this and we're going to go to library. Ghent University Library? Or... No, it's not that one.
Oh, see you later, Brie Mary.
Bye, Brie Mary.
Oh, who knows?
Library, famous library in Ireland. Trinity College Library, Linden-Hall Library, Marsh's Library, Rathmann's Library, National Library. Rathmann's?
See that pretty one with the picture that has, like, that one. And where's that?
Library of Trinity College, Dublin.
Yeah, that's the one. Is that the one? I hope you can sleep in that one.
Let's see.
Sleep over.
Oldest library the oldest library building, now known as Old Library, is construction began in 1712.
Cool.
Manuscripts and archives. Okay, so it's founding of Trinity College in 1592, and then the library, his complete works were published in the library in 24 volumes. Let's see, the long room. Look at these books. It's ridiculous. Lined with marble, but the marble bust collection was formed with 14 busts from the sculptor who acquired the college. That's really, really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi archives of Jedi Temple in the movie Star Wars Attack of the Clones bear a sterling resemblance to the long room of the Trinity College Library. Oh, they decided not to take any legal actions. Yeah, I mean, I would too. I would too.
And why? I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so
be a nice homage, like, hey, that's pretty. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I guess they wanted to be filmed there so they could have charged them money, maybe. That's the only thing I would be annoyed about.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about, like, Ozarks wasn't filmed in the Ozarks. And so, like, I think it's in Georgia.
What?
Hold on.
flips
Ozark.
table in rage.
Ozark's TV show.
Everything in my life is a lie.
Um, Premise, main. I just want to know where it's filmed. Just tell me where it's filmed.
Ozark filming locations.
But it did not have a significant. In February, the restaurant named Marty Bird's opened in Lake Ozark and include menus inspired by the show. So.
Oop.
Oh, filming. Yeah, Georgia. I was right. It's Georgia.
Freaking Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Most outdoor things are shot in Georgia.
What the hell? Why?
They've got such an amount of woods and areas of I think I don't want to say lost woods, but anyway.
Was like, are you cheap or something? Is it cheap to film there?
It's also very cheap. That is correct.
Yep, it's got to be, because now like a lot of the Hallmark movies get filmed. Some, not a lot of them, but some of them get filmed in Connecticut now, and it's like, okay, I know we're not cheap here.
Yeah, right. Really beneficial tax laws, says Galvos. Thank you, Galvos. I hope your headache is doing better.
Galvos. Oh, I took headache medicine before this too.
Oh, yeah. That would have been good with the wine.
Yeah, no, fortunately, water. I have water. We're good.
All right, so let's talk about your love of books, all right? So, top 3 books, and we'll talk about 1 or 2 of them. Like books that changed you. They could be children's books, they could be.
Okay. Okay, hold on, let me think.
Yeah.
So I think, I wish I could find it, but you'll look it up anyway. So
yeah,
it's cool to show it the cover, but we'll look it up. There's Grandpa's Ghost Stories by James Flora. I am requesting that you look this one up because this is the kind of book I loved as a kid, which will tell you a little bit what kind of a kid I was.
Okay.
A bit Galvos. I'm sorry it's not improved fully.
Oh yeah, it's gonna show my address and stuff. Let me just go away from that.
I'm not looking.
It's all right. Let's go into Goodreads.
Yes, there you go. Better.
Okay, so and for some reason Pizza Hut wants to advertise wings. It always cracks me up.
Is there branching out?
Okay, so tell me about the book since this is not going to.
So Grandpa's Ghost Stories. Okay. When I read this book as a kid, then it's like one of those things where you sort of forget about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that it exists. And then years later as an adult, I saw the illustration again and I went, oh my God, like that's something, that shift happens in your brain.
Right.
Where it's like, oh my God, I remember you. And it's like seeing an old friend again. And so basically Grandpa's Ghost Stories is about eerie stories. They're a little spooky. They're a little creepy. Dancing skeleton bones. A boy trapped in a cave with a witch, and she turns all the children into hairy spiders, and she wants to turn him into one.
Right.
And it's like the right kind of creepy, and I loved it. And I always kind of loved like the spooky things, but not too spooky. Like it had to be spooky in a certain way that wasn't actually frightening. And I know when you get to the dislikes, we may talk about that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just one of those books that was deliciously chilling in a really good way.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, and it was like the books, and I was going to say as you know, but books were always my friends growing up. Sometimes they were my only friends.
Okay.
So this book was a particularly impactful part of my childhood, as was, there's a book, and it's submarine book. And it's a weird name, and it's going to be hard. I can't even remember what it is, and it's going to be hard for me to find it. I would have to go get it in my room and bring it back to show it to you. But essentially, it was this submarine book, and you could hold it in your hands. and it had cutouts for your hands that made it look like you were driving the submarine.
Oh, okay. All right,
I
let's figure this one.
I can
So,
go and get it.
submarine book cutout.
Yeah, like you could hold it in your hands. And I'll try to. I can run over and get it quickly if you want.
If you want to do that, that's totally fine.
Or I could use my fancy Googling skills and see if I can find it.
Uh,
Submarine book, 1980s, cutouts for hands. Right? Let's try that. That's not going well.
yeah, they just keep bringing me to
Yeah,
book
it's okay.
cutouts. It's okay.
Yeah,
So,
no, I don't have to run and grab it, but it was just really neat because it made you feel like you were in control of something.
oh,
It was like one part toy, one part book. I would look at that thing for what felt to me like hours, and I would look at all the illustrations, and I loved the ocean, so I loved to look at all the little sea creatures. And I even remember there was a sea creature that had it was an angler fish that had the little light.
yeah.
I was obsessed with that one fish. I loved it so much.
Now, do you love it? Like, love it to this day? Like, is it something that you like would get a plush of?
Oh yeah, when I found it again, I was ecstatic. And actually, oh, Rusty, this reminds me. There's a book called The Hunky Dory Dairy. Okay. This freaking book. I read it as a kid. Maybe I was 11 or 12 or something like that. And it's a time travel book, which I am obsessed with time travel as a trope. I just love it. I see time travel and it just clicks something in my brain. So, yeah, so the book is called Hunky Dory Dairy.
Okay.
And it's about a girl who goes back in time to an old time dairy farm, and she ends up bringing her mother with her, and it's this whole adventure, and she introduces the kids to what a Walkman is, because you remember we're in the 80s now.
Yeah.
And so she introduces a Walkman, and then there's this, it's a great book, super fun. I loved it as a kid, and I could never find it. So I would go looking for it at every used bookstore I was ever at every used book sale I ever went to, and I was adamant I will find this book. Somehow I just know I will, because I didn't want to get it on Amazon. I didn't want to get it online. I just wanted to find it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a book sale that happens at one of the smaller towns near us, but the book sale's very big. And on the very last day, it was a free day when all the books, you could just take as many as you want for free. And it's amazing. And so I was looking in the kids section and I picked up a book, and I'll be damned if it wasn't the Hunky Dory Dairy.
Wow.
Remember now, it's the last day. It's the free day. It's gone through like 6 days and ain't nobody picked up this book. And I was just like, oh. And then all of a sudden when I picked it up, I swear to you, the whole, just like in the movies, everything in the room stopped.
Aww.
Everyone stopped moving around me, all the sound diminished, and I started to cry.
I was gonna say, did you start crying? I would start crying.
Of course I did. Oh my God. And it was like this very impactful moment when I finally found the book again. And again, for a kid who was, I felt a lot of times kind of alone, this was like seeing, again, same thing with with the James Flora book. This was like seeing an old friend again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, you're not alone. Oh my
Aww.
God. Hey, Knox, how are you? Yeah, and there it was.
That's
And hey,
so great.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and then I reread it, again as an adult, and it still stood up. You know what I mean?
Yay!
Just as fun, still just as awesome, and not hokey or I mean, well, it was hokey, but in the 1980s hokey way.
Right, right. Aw, that's so great. Oh,
Oh,
that's such a heartwarming story. um,
freaking books.
so yeah, there was one book that I had where that like impacted me, where it was like a community that didn't know they were being watched like a zoo, and they were all basically there was like hidden cameras and stuff where like the regular people were like watching them, but they thought that they were going through like the colonial era. And so one of the parents, like they knew it, and then it became like this whole experiment. They realized like this was an experiment, and they couldn't actually leave if they wanted to. And somebody was really sick, and they go ahead and they tell the daughter like, look, here's the way to get out. Like you have to get past the guards. You have to. There's a tunnel here. Like you have to get out. And she goes ahead and escapes and ends up on the highway, not knowing what cars are, not
Oh my
knowing
god.
what. And so every single time I go down like a New Jersey road and I see fencing, I'm like, there could be a girl back there. Like,
Oh
it's
my
just
god. Oh my god. We have to save
we
them.
have to save this girl.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
I'll have to find the book for you because they read it in my it was seventh grade, and they read it in my seventh grade class, and I still talk to my seventh grade teacher. I ask about it every
Yeah.
so often.
It might be too many chickens for me because you know I'm a chicken. It gives me anxiety to think I'm like, oh my god, she has a modern illness and they're not giving her modern medication. My brain is just running.
it's a great book. Even for
Terrible.
seventh grade, it was a great book.
Torturing her. Like, oh my god. Okay, calm down, Jane.
Well, the fun part is that she's going in and learning all of this stuff and trying to break through barriers as far as, you know,
Yeah.
pretending that she knows modern technology. She has to use a payphone for the first time, and like I thought it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good age for that because that's when you're starting to get and do new things and new experiences, and you feel that same way. Like, oh my god, I've never done this before.
Right, right. Anglerfish. So you said that you wanted one of these puppies, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to be one for Halloween.
Ooh.
Crafty, so I'm not making this flippin' costume myself. I will totally throw money at the situation, even though I'm poor, because for me to make a costume would be so bad.
Okay, so which kind of, there's a whole bunch of different anglerfish here. Are you looking to be like the round puffy ones? Are you
I
looking
was,
to be
oh
like the
look up.
long one?
I'll show you my. It's like a puffy one. He's a black puffy one.
Okay.
If you look up anglerfish Halloween costume, I can show you which one I'm gonna get. Knox just refound a dragon book when you could. Oh, and it didn't stand up. Well, that's a bummer. Lame Knox, so lame. There it is.
This one?
Nope. Over to the, yeah, that one.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What do you think?
It's something. I like it. I like the little fins on it. I feel like I don't know. I don't know why it has to be black though. Like make it like a fun blue color.
Huh. Maybe because it's spookier.
That's true. Because I think about like how they look like this, and it glows in the dark, and it's got a blue light to it, you know. Which this is really cute, by the way.
I need that puppet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It also looks like a chain chomp.
Yes, it does. Yeah, if you see it over here, kind of chomping away.
It's like a chain chomp.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So yeah, that's a cool costume.
Yeah, and I did buy a Mothman costume.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and so I still want to wear that.
And
as well.
You know Fenwa's song Mothman?
Say that again?
Do you know Fenwa Tarian's song Mothman? Yeah, that song gets stuck in my head all the time.
Yeah, and did you know that there's some lovely romantic books about Mothman?
Oh my god.
And other cryptids.
That's crazy, but it doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't surprise me. Hi, Sencha.
Oh, Sencha.
So you put in, you know, things that are scary. Like you don't like things that are scary, but like this is kind of scary looking.
Well, even it in a cute way, because it's a animal. It's like, well, not it's a fish, but you know what I mean. Like it's a creature.
Yeah.
All creatures are cute,
Okay. I
even
can't.
the ugly ones.
Um, let's talk about shamanism.
Oh, let's.
So, start me out, because I gotta work
So
off of you.
I felt so I took a year-long shamanic program
Mm-hmm.
with this amazing woman named Maya, who was my instructor for the whole year. And she was an amazing person. She unfortunately passed away.
Mm.
She was young. And she was a very kind and generous person. And that year-long program, I don't think there's ever been a time in my life that I've ever felt that good, or I think I knew myself for the first time in my life, and I liked myself.
Aw, that's
In
so
the
good to
first,
hear.
yeah, and it's really been the only time that I can say that with certainty. And I still think about that, and I still want to go back to again. I had intentions of taking the next step with her, but it was expensive.
Yeah.
And at the time, like for what it wasn't expensive. For what she offered you, it was not expensive, but for me, it was. And she was really good and worked out like a plan with me, because she said it's more important to me that you take the workshop, not that you pay me.
Aw.
And I mean, like, really a very generous person. And I wanted to take the next year-long program with her, but I knew that I couldn't afford it, and I didn't want to take advantage of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't. And then she moved to another state, and then she ended up passing away.
Mm.
And so I can never take another shamanic program with her again.
Right.
And I don't know where to go beyond that. I have so many books, and I think we'll just start there. But I don't know, that was such an important and impactful part of my life. And and she was just so cool. And it was such a neat class, and I had like such a neat program, and I had trouble with it because, Rusty, everybody in this class was like an expert almost. Like they had holistic parents, they'd been in holistic programs for years, and then I showed up as effectively complete newbie. And you would go on these shamanic journeys, right? That's what you were supposed to do. And she would, Maya would be drumming, and then you're going on this shamanic journey, and everybody's coming out of it, and they're like, and I saw a yellow acorn, and I saw this, and I was like, I didn't see shit. I didn't see a goddamn thing. And so finally I said, okay, look, hey, I'm not seeing anything here. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong. And I said, but how do I know that when I go on these shamanic journeys, I was like, that what I'm experiencing isn't something I'm just making up in my head.
Right.
Like, this isn't just on my imagination. And she said, okay. And she said, that's your journalism training talking. And she's like, so why don't you, for the next time we do a journey, why don't you just assume that everything you see and experience is real? And I was like, yeah, okay, I can try that. Because I work really well in extremes. Everything is real or nothing is real.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the nothing is real camp. So then I just said, yeah, okay, I can do the everything is real camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I did. And it unlocked something in my brain, which is a skeptic brain by nature.
Mm-hmm.
But and I appreciated that actually about myself, because I didn't just go into it like, I'm going to see all these amazing things.
Right.
Nope. gonna happen here? And, you know, it was great because it unlocked something in me. And it's like, it's the weirdest thing, but now I believe
Yeah,
in it.
good.
And I don't practice it right now. I would like to practice it again, but it's wild the things you can do and the things you can see.
That's crazy. And I don't mean crazy in a bad way. I just mean like that's hard to imagine as somebody who has not gone through that, you know?
Yeah, and I couldn't have explained it if I didn't go through. Like one day, my friend came over and said I had this really weird dream, and I said, "Well, what happened?" And she told me, and I said, "Well, let's journey into your dream." And I said, "I'll help you," and we did. And I know that this is going to sound kind of nuts because I feel nuts even saying it. You know, like it sounds kind of nuts, but I did the drum
Mm-hmm.
and I guided her into the dream, and I went there with her, and I experienced what I experienced. She experienced what she experienced, and she was just looking for clarity. And it's the weirdest thing. And if you didn't experience it, I just can't explain it. I would
That's
just
so
do
cool, though.
go with you. Like I'd have to do it with you in order for you to know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. And so, did you travel for this, or was it mainly located where you were?
It was nearby. It was in a she used to own a holistic shop
Okay.
that was not that far from me, maybe like 30 minutes at most away from me. I took the long way, so everything always took me longer.
Right.
To the surprise of no one. I'm like, what's
Now,
the easiest way I can take to get there? That's the way I'm taking.
now, what the frick was I gonna say? The you said she owned a little shop. So,
Mm-hmm.
did she advertise outwardly that this was, or was it the shop that was going to bring in some finances, and then she,
So
where was her main source? Was her source of income having like all these people come into where you live and have this shamanic experience, or did she like have a shop and just happen to be a shaman?
yeah, it was mostly the shop where she would have gotten income from because there were no more than 5 people in the class I was in, and one of them had to stop coming.
Okay.
So then there were only 4 of us.
Okay.
So it definitely wouldn't pay the bills.
Yeah. No, and I'm not quite sure why I answered that question other than like I've seen someone before. My mom has a someone that she goes sees. I don't like a mentor, right? So I don't want to call them psychics. It's just guidance mentor. And she owns a little shop, but she also does readings. And I feel like the shop brings in about equal amount to the readings, but I don't know much about shamanism, and so I didn't know if it was like a more profitable than somebody who would be that sort of psychic or mentor or whatever, because that's more common to me than shamanism.
Right, and it's definitely more specialized, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
so not everyone is going to be interested in it. And I do think too, though, not everyone's going to be called to it.
Okay.
And if you're called to it, there's probably a reason for it, and there's probably a reason why the woman who dropped out
Right.
for whatever reason. It just either her life no longer needed that, or she no longer needed it, or it was not her path anymore. And as if it was, she would have stayed longer.
Right. Right.
You have to assume. And, you know, I have to assume that I wouldn't have wanted to enter into this year-long program if it didn't mean something.
That's epic. Good for you for
Yeah.
kind of like stepping out of your comfort zone and learning something amazing.
I mean, there were some weird things about it, I'm not going to lie. There were some things that I'm just like, I don't know. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, I can't do that. That one is too much for me. And you know, and but you don't have to subscribe to everything.
That's good, and that's good that there are different elements that you can subscribe to, like you were saying. Um, so that's cool. You took me on a journey there. That was really friggin' cool to hear. I'm proud of you for doing
Um,
that. That's awesome.
Thanks. Well, anytime you want to try to do a shamanic journey, I am happy to dust out the old drum.
Okay. I got a lot of weird dreams, so, but I also know usually what they mean.
Yeah. It's when they're confusing then that's helpful.
Right. It's like, yes, last night there was a giant wave that came in, and I know that water means worry, and I was like, oh shit, what am I worried about? Like, it's kind of.
That would be like every night for me. It would be like, right, so, because I think I was born worried.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, the truth of the matter is, Rusty, I was born angry.
Okay.
And the story goes that when I was born, I cannot imagine anyone's happy to be born. You know, like they're like, yay, this is fun. You know, like when you, I don't think you're, in anything I've ever seen a movie, the baby ain't happy. The baby's crying. The baby's upset. The baby's agitated.
Right.
So I can't imagine any baby's truly excited or looking happy or whatever. But whatever I did, the nurse takes you away and they clean you up. They make you look pretty. They bring you back to your ma. And the nurse said to my mother, ma'am, your daughter has a temper. What the hell did I do? Like, I was a freaking newborn. What did I do that was this bad?
Oh my God.
I was totally born angry. What did I do?
Oh my gosh. Ragged says he wants to dance around a fire naked for you.
For me or
with you? I guess. I don't know if it's. I can be naked around a fire, bust out the drum, and let's go. Interpret that as you will. I don't know if it's with you or for you or what.
Well, that's. Yup. Okay, yeah, he can be naked around a fire. All I have to do is bust out the drum.
You don't have to look. You can just bust out the drum.
I could be there 100% clothed, and Ragged can be naked, which is fine. That's good. No cameras. We're not streaming it.
No.
Right? Terms of service.
Yeah,
Talk about
Twitch terms of service says that you can't be around a fire.
no.
Oh yeah, I guess the naked thing too.
Well, maybe, but talk about Vodless Monday. You know what I mean, Ragged?
Oh my God, that's great. You're so funny. Alright, so we got into anglerfish and stuff like that. So let's talk about your love of Halloween.
Yeah.
Are you into more of the dressing up? Are you into more of the spooky stories and the way it makes you feel? Are you in love with the season? It could be all the above.
Yeah, so mostly I think it's the season. That, I don't know, you know how sometimes you feel out of place sometimes? I never feel out of place in autumn. I just feel like it matches me somehow.
Yeah.
And maybe it's that things are ending a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And regrowth is going to happen. Maybe that's it. I'm not really sure. I just feel like I fit in autumn.
Yeah, and I can relate to that. I can only physically really be in autumn or spring because I can't sweat, so I can't really go outside much. But fall in itself, it just has a smell and it'll trigger you, and it's like, okay, school's beginning. But, like, we're having a lot of days off because Halloween's coming and, like, you know, all of that stuff. So, yeah, Halloween is, to me, the last day before, like, Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of that starts. Like, it's, like, celebrating, like you said, like, the ending of certain things.
It's just, and Defiled's foolish. Look at this one.
Yeah, Halloween's the only time my face is accepted. Stupid genetics.
Defiled, I know you love your self-deprecating humor, and I'm still gonna say you're cute each and every time. Because you know what? I think everyone's cute, and I think everyone's beautiful. And that's not to say like, so you're not special, But no, that's not what I mean. I just mean like, really, everybody is beautiful. There are some people who are just bad people, and those don't count. Really nuts,
Yeah, yeah.
But the outliers of society that are criminals, that's different. But I don't know. I think everybody's beautiful.
Aw, that's so good.
It's like even when I was 14, I dated. I'm gonna use this term loosely because I held their hand for 2 weeks and that's
Right,
it.
right.
I dated this guy, and at first when I met him, I thought, oh, whatever, he's nothing to call home about. He ain't that cute. And then when I got to know him and liked him, I was like, wow, he's adorable, because that's how liking people happens. Like, it's not necessarily what they look like. It's how they make you feel, and how you feel, and how they are and who they are as a person.
You have some great insights. I love hearing you speak. Sometimes I forget what I'm gonna say. So, but Sencha says booty is in the hand of the butt holder. All right, butt spot, calm yourself.
Wow, yeah, Sencha butt. Okay, yes, defiled. Your aunt counts in the everyone is beautiful talk. That is terrible, and I better not hear that you actually tried. If that's like a real thing, defiled, I have to talk to you about that.
Oh my
That is
god.
so inappropriate.
Oh my god.
It's not kind. That's like something we would have done in 8th grade when all 8th graders are assholes.
It's true.
We're not doing that. They all are. They're terrible people. And we all were. I was too.
So you like the dressing up part, yeah?
Okay, so this is really weird. I suck at dressing up for Halloween. Like, I legitimately suck. Every year I go, and this year is the year I'm gonna get an epic costume, and then I never do, with the exception of last year when I got the Mothman costume. That was the only time I've done it in my 42 years of living. I think I'm 42. Wait, how old am I? Tim, how old am I? 42? Okay, good. So, yeah, in my 42 years of living, that is the only time I've ever purposefully gone out and purchased a costume. What is wrong with this picture? I don't know. But here's the thing, Rusty. Growing up, we participated in trick-or-treating, and we dressed up, but my mom didn't make a real big deal about it because she was born in Poland, grew up in France, moved here when she was 16, and at that point she didn't give a whatever about Halloween.
Right.
So growing up, we participated in it, but it was kind of like a, well, what do you got in your closet kind of thing.
Right, right.
Like, oh, well, you had a dance recital this year. Can we repurpose this costume into something? And it never felt like a big deal. Like, it just, you went out and you did it, but it never was like super celebrated or felt like a big deal.
Okay. So, did you dress up in like the thing over your head with the cut eyeballs kind of thing, sheet and eyeballs?
No, it was more like, oh, you had this really sexy unitard with polka dots on it from your dance recital. We could just make you into a clown because polka dots.
Okay.
Or, oh, hey, remember when you were a munchkin in the dance/play, The Wizard of Oz? Well, look, if we get an orange tiger mask, you can be a tiger because the colors are orange.
Oh my god.
It was like that.
Right.
And it was fine, and it was fine, but I have this sad picture of myself. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I'm in my stupid munchkin costume with my stupid tiger mask on, and I'm looking down like this. My entire face is drooping, and I look miserable. I do not know what was bothering me that day, or if it was just a shitty photo.
Right.
Either way, I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's so painful. Why was I so sad?
Right. What is deep inside of me?
I know. And there's this other like horror. This is actually a really terrible story. I can't believe I'm telling you this one. There's this picture of myself And I was little. I was like maybe 2, and I had a hood on and my little coat on. I had like a winter coat on, and my hood was up. And I was in a house, and it was dark behind me. And somebody took a picture of my face really close up, and I'm looking just like at the camera, like no smile, no nothing. And as when I was growing up, I looked at that picture and I swore I made up a whole story about that picture. I had been left home alone
Oh.
at the age of 2, and I didn't know where my family was.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is where I went with the story. Who took the picture, Jamie?
Yeah.
Who took the flipping picture? Pictures of myself where I'm frowning or looking miserable. What is going on? So I have to try to deliberately find ones where I look cheerful.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you know the Frank Zappa photo? You could look it up. Actually, Google Frank Zappa ponytail. Pigtails.
Okay.
Goat Aunt is a great comic book idea. Aw. He was still on Tatooine. Okay, your mom stitched up your costume. Said, okay, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna have to try to find it and post it in Discord.
That's great.
That's a picture of myself.
That's fucking funny.
Pigtails, looking at the camera the same way.
That's incredible. Do you have the goatee and mustache though?
I wish. It was a kindergarten photo.
Oh my God.
Professional school photo, and I was just like, I swear, it's like I'm completely twinning with Frank Zappa in this picture.
That's fantastic.
So back to Halloween. So yeah, like it was funny because it didn't feel very dramatic, or didn't even feel like a very impactful part of my childhood, but I just loved it. And so when I was 24, I carved a pumpkin for the first time.
Oh.
And then from that point on, I've had a pumpkin carving party every year.
That's so great.
So I came somewhat to the celebratory part of it a little late in life, and it's funny because my mom did too. So, she always says, well, we didn't have Halloween in France, and that's true. But now when we have the pumpkin carving party, she'll never carve a pumpkin. But she will walk around and look at everybody else's pumpkins and exclaim over them with delight.
Oh, that's so great. At least
And
she's supportive. I was worried you were going to be like, and she scowled at them, each and every one of them.
Yeah, she picked them up and went.
And that's why Books was so mad in her pigtails, because she got smashed. There was literal smashing pumpkins happening.
Talk about a shakedown, 1979. Okay, I'll see myself out.
No, you're good. So you were talking about we were talking about Halloween, but then of course I was talking about getting into the later seasons, and so you said that you really like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So what is it about? So you like Halloween, you like Christmas, yeah?
Yep. So I have a thing about Santa, and I know that Sentra's in the chat right now, and he's gonna say, "Oh my God, I have a Santa thing too," because he does. And yeah, we both have a thing about Santa Claus. So I love the innocence of Santa, and I love the magic of Santa. And I don't think that I'll ever get over that. You know what I mean? I don't think I'll ever not be in love with the whole concept. And I just think it's very beautiful. And I'm sure it's apparent to some people here, but I am a bit of an emotional person. And so Santa, I will cry when I see him in public. Just a little. Just little happy tears come up when I see Santa in public, because I think he's so beautiful.
Aww.
And there was this really cool, there's a place in Connecticut called Mystic Seaport, and it's an old fishing village. and it's like it's recreated. So you have like all your blacksmith building, your sextant shop, your apothecary, your general store, your church, your school, and it's made to look just like an old time fishing village. And they have special events that they do, including one around Christmas time. And essentially, it's a lantern light tour, and they take you around the fishing village, and everybody has a lantern, and a skit, like a play, plays out in front of you, and you can go in and out of the buildings, and it's like a live action play.
Wow.
Beautiful. Even when the script is god awful,
Yeah, I'm sure.
so awesome. Because the first year I went, I admit the script, they must have hired somebody really solid because the script was beautiful. And essentially, it was a story that, someone's watch went missing in the fishing village, and where did it go? And then there was a mysterious stranger that came in on a ship, and nobody knew who he was. And then there's a shopkeeper who looks oddly like Santa Claus. And when you went into the shop and you saw this man sitting there, and you knew he was Santa.
Right,
like,
of course.
Obviously he's Santa Claus, but he's not telling you he's Santa Claus. And I was just so enthralled by this story. And then we left that part of the skit, and we left the shop, and like, people talk about that inner child thing a lot, and I don't know, mine just took over for a second, and I ran back. I left the group, and I ran back into the shop, and I opened the door, and the bells jangled, and I just said, "Thank you, Santa." And I ran out. I felt like such a kid.
Aww.
And like, then at the end of it, oh God, Rusty, it was so cool. At the end of it, a horse-drawn carriage showed up to take you back through the village and back to the starting point. And when you got there, I freaked out because Santa, like an actual, like the man from the shop was sitting there with a Santa suit on. And I was like, oh my God. And nobody stood up to go sit next to him. Like, nobody got in the carriage. And I was like, well, shit, y'all. And I was like, I'm going in. And so I went in and I sat next to Santa, and I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is like such a dream come true.
Aww.
He feels very real to me.
Aww. I think that you're right with the innocence of it all, and that it represents so much happiness, which is weirdly why you put Krampus on your list, which we'll touch on in a second. But but let's stick with Santa for a second. So Santa's writing some really cool stuff that I want you to catch up with. And down the road, their Mystic Tourist Shop Village with a candy shop, a spooky bookstore, and other cool shit we couldn't get to. More candy shops and a honey store. Then more candy shops. You need a day for it, don't leave late. And fudge shops, which also had candy.
Okay, Sencha. All right, okay, this is what he's talking about. Because when he visited here, we went to Mystic Seaport because I thought, okay, here's a dude who likes piracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seafaring village sounds like a wonderful place to bring him, right? Okay. Apparently, Mystic Seaport closes at 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shops at Mystic Village, which are like really wild and crazy shops, apparently close at freaking 5:30.
Oh my God.
I assumed that this gigantic tourist shopping plaza with like an Alice in Wonderland bookstore and a tea shop and all this crazy stuff would stay open longer. Because when you go to Mystic Seaport, the next logical thing to do is to go to the shops at Mystic Village.
Right.
It only stayed open for half an hour.
Oh my gosh.
By the time we got there, we had something like 15 minutes to go through an entire village of epic shops. Oy.
Oh my God. We only got one single fudge place as everything was closing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just a reason to come back, Sancha. I mean, there's 100 reasons to come back, but just a reason to come back and try it again. Yep. I didn't say, yeah, exactly. The reason to come back, and then another reason to come back. Okay, so let's talk Krampus now. I have to hear the story of why Krampus is on this list.
Krampus. Oh, there goes my alarm to tell me to feed the cats. I'm sorry. Let me turn that off. Okay. All right, we're good. I'm good. We're all good.
Krampus. Tell me why.
Okay, so this is a newer love. I didn't find out about Krampus. Actually, my mother introduced me to him. And I don't think he's from France, but she had this book that talked about like holiday traditions over the years. Oh, and it's a pop-up book. Oh, snap. I need to get it. I collect pop-up books. Okay, digression. I'm like, oh wait, and now that I've talked about Santa and gotten so excited, I'm actually now like overheating
Oh.
because I started talking about Santa. Like I got so excited that I'm actually overheating. Okay, so Krampus, right. Okay, so my mother had this really cool pop-up book, and you could pull the tab down, and Krampus would be sitting there looking, like Krampus, and then you would pull a tab down, and his long tongue would come out. And it was just, it looked really cool, and I was like, okay, what is this creature? Because I like monsters.
Right.
Despite not liking truly, truly scary things, I like monsters. I've always liked monster movies. They can't be scary, and I know we'll talk about this later, but technically Krampus is kind of terrifying. He's like the anti-Santa. He's like, hey, have you been naughty? Here, I'm going to take this, twig, I'm going to smack you on your ass with it, and I'm going to stick you in my basket and kidnap you.
Yeah, pretty much. That about sums it up.
Kind of terrifying if you really think about it, but yet, in my family, there's a running joke that I am married to Krampus. And we call him Uncle Krampus because I'm Auntie Jamie. And so he's Uncle Krampus to my nieces and nephew. I even have a Krampus necklace that just has his name on it, like you would have gotten in the 60s when you got your boyfriend's name on your necklace or your bracelet. I got Krampus.
That's great. That's great.
And I think it's just solely because I like monsters.
That's so cool, though. Like, that's a you have so many interesting things about you. That's so great. So, yeah, are you ever I mean, you said you were Mothman. Have you ever been Krampus?
No, but oh my god, shoot, I do want to get this to show you. Oh. Sencha, stop talking about horny ducks. I'm sorry. Naughty. Okay, so one day, you're going to freak out about this story.
Okay.
So one day, my friend called or texted me and asked me if I was home on a Friday. This is a relatively normal occurrence. They would come here from Massachusetts. They would be picking up their son to bring them back with them to Massachusetts. And sometimes they would stop by my house, right, when they were here. Okay, so it was not out of the ordinary that he would text me and say, hey, are you home right now? And I was like, yeah, come on over. I'll leave the back door unlocked. Don't you know that he came up the steps jingling his bells and looked in, and he was fully head to toe dressed as Krampus.
That's great.
I freaked the hell out and took like a million pictures, and yes, you bet I want to get a Krampus costume.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you think what kind of do you think something like this or
Well,
you have to have a baby doll with you. It's